autoimmune disease, ANA. Many of you are familiar with the lab test called ANA. It's our anti-nuclear antibodies.
Yeah.
And this is basically our antibodies are attacking the nucleus in our cells. And sadly, the research is now stating that 1 in 3 Americans are producing anti-nuclear antibodies every day. And we are definitely in healthcare, we are in a crisis with autoimmune disease and how this dysregulation of our bodies is bleeding into mental health disorders. And so with this dysregulation, it can stem from all kinds of things, which we'll get into. There was a great pediatrician, a pediatric gastroenterologist from Mass General, that I feel like he coined this perfectly. Sarah Gottfried talks about it, where, you know, this is stemming from the 3-legged stool, which is 1, our genetics or epigenetics, meaning we're born with this predisposition to possibly develop an autoimmune disease. If your mom has psoriasis, you may have psoriasis. 2 is leaky gut and permeability. Wendell and I, in multiple episodes, have talked about our gut health and how this is the biggest organ we have, but also one of our largest immune panels. And so with leaky gut permeability, it's bleeding into dysregulation and leaky brain for mental health. And 3 is stress. And stress can come from all kinds of things. It can be you were infected with a virus, could be COVID, could be the vaccine, it could be trauma, it could be mental or physical trauma, it can be coworker stress, your boss stress, your family stress. So something tips that toxic bucket, I call. You know, I call this a toxic bucket in the sense that all day, every day, and throughout our lives, our bucket internally is accumulating toxins. And toxins can be things like molds and mildew and artificial ingredients, our foods. It can be the stress, right? Like high cortisol is bleeding into high insulin. And so anyway, our bucket fills up and all of a sudden there's a trigger. And that trigger can be different for each person. Sometimes it's multiple triggers or one trigger, and our bucket spills over.